Hoje o Instituto fez mais um evento social, só que foi um evento diferente. Tivemos a visita de um grupo de americanos de uma ONG chamada Blackman's Option, que estiveram na Maré e estiveram no Turano. Foi maravilhoso. Eles contribuíram com 120 cestas básicas. Conseguimos também fazer o Cine Comunidade para as crianças. E no final tivemos um jantar para todos os convidados.
So today was a wonderful day. It's a privilege to be able to be in the position to give back. And as we travel, we see things and we want to do something. And this was a perfect opportunity today to give back to a community and be a part of this community in Brazil.
Oh, today was a very wonderful day. It was a life-changing experience. I got to see exactly what Rodrigo does. He has a very great project. I think it's very inspirational. To me, he's a hero.
Agradeço demais ao Ralph da Blackman's Option pela parceria e mostra que, independente das culturas diferenciadas, todos podemos pensar pelo bem maior, que é o ser humano, e a melhora das crianças através de projetos sociais, esporte e entretenimento. Ralph, a você, meu máximo respeito. Muito obrigado pela parceria e a visita aqui no nosso país. Os.
Inhlangano yezokungcebeleka ontetic bicycle tour and backpackers ngokubambisana nenhlangano yamaMelika iBlackman's Option banikele ngesidlo sasemini kanye nezikhwama zokudla kubafundi basesikoleni samabanga aphansi imizamo primary Orlando West namhlanje ngesikhathi esekuseni. Lokho kubonisa abafundi abangaphezulu kwamashumi ayisithupha bemukela lomnikelo. Uthishanhloko wesikole uThayini Mavimbela uthi labo abahlomlile abafundi abaphuma kumakhaya adla imbuya ngothi
Baithutwana ba sekolo sa thuto tse tlase sa Mzamo Primary School se motsaneng wa Orlando West ba fuwe diphuthelwana tsa dijo go tswa go mokgatlo wa Blackman's Option tshebedisanong mmogo le mokgatlo wa Authentic Bicycle Tours and Backpackers pejana kajeno. Baithuti ba 60 ka palo ba unetse malapa a bona dijo ka morao ga go kgethiwa ke ketapele ya sekolo ponong ya maima ao ba lebaneng le ona malapeng a bona ha ba fetang magolo a mararo ba fuwe dijo tsa motshehare.
Parents asisukumeni asimeni ngezinyawo sifike kuma meetings bewebizwa ezikolweni sikwazi ukuthi sixoxisane singothisha singabazali siyithi abo principal ne SMT sikwazi kuba ne goal A1.
Leloko la mokgatlo wa Blackman's Option eleng Eric Spencer o boletse ga ile kgotsofalo go boneng le thabo le ithadileng difatlhegong tsa baithuti ka mohelong ya bona jalo ka bahahlaudi go tswa mose mo a ananetseng gore nehelo ena ke pula madiboho nehelong tseo ba tlilong go di etsa isawo.
This is the first time that we've been able to do this, but this is the third time that we've actually come here. So when we're here, we see what's going on in the community, and us in America, we like to give back. And we have developed a special bond with Lungi and Cynthia and just all of Soweto. Even the small amount of time that we've been able to be here, the community has embraced us. And for us, not having that connection coming here, we feel like we're reconnecting with the community that we didn't know we had.
Leloko la mokgatlo wa Authentic Bicycle Tours and Backpackers seleng Lungi Madi ya hlabileng mogosi wa thuso ho Namoleng Luba. O bolela ha ile kgotsofalo hore tema ena e phethahetse molomong wa ho tshehetsa le ho otlolla letsoho la botho ba ithuting le malapeng a bona.
Sibonga kakhulu kumphathi wesikolo, sibonga kakhulu nestaff sonke esokuthi sikhonile ukuthi sisebenzisane neAuthentic Bicycle Tours and Backpackers ukuthi ama-family akhone ukubenefita kuko konke esincedisana ngako kungapheleli la.
Ba bang ba batswadi ba ileng ba amohela dinehelo tsena ba fitisitse mantswe a teboho ho ketapele ya sekolo mmoho le mekgatlo e amehang ho nehelaneng ka Namolaliuba.
Sibonge kakhulu ngesikolo sethu imzamo ngokwesinceda for abantwana bethu siphiwe ukudla
basikwazi ukuthola lama hamper because
asiyazi ukuthi besaba yini ngaphandle kwabo.
Ne re sa nahana hore e tla etsahala but then ra leboha haholo.
Maloko a mokgatlo wa Blackman Option a boletse ha tema ena e tlilo tswala katleho le isaho ka ha bantse ba tlilo gutla ho otlomile letsoho ho thuseng ba kojwana di mahetleng. Ditabeng tsa Soweto TV ke Manini Morolo ke le Orlando West.
Like I said, the terminology that you created, the Matrix.
I borrowed it, actually. I can't take all of that credit because, I don't want to take nothing away from that sister that wrote the movie,
Okay.
The Matrix. I borrowed it from her, actually.
Okay.
And it was just an analogy to say that we live in that matrix where we think that that's the norm. It
Exactly.
isn't the norm.
It's
we need
not
to get
the
out of
norm.
those borders. A lot of people don't want to lead a block, for the fact that that's all that they know. A passport is true freedom.
To me, it's a lot of guys think that the reason why we black men travel, and this has been the biggest misconception. This is even going on during the movie. That we go to these other countries because when women starve, we're thirsty as hell, and we got it so bad in the Matrix that we got to leave to go get a woman. It's more, to me, it became more than just a woman.
Right.
When I travel, it's an excitement. It's a great stress reliever. Without stress, when you stress out your life, or at least low in your life, okay, you live longer.
You get to experience things, you get to see beautiful countries.
Exactly.
And you get to experience with somebody who ain't gonna stress you with the baggage that they bring along with them. You understand what I'm saying?
Welcome to BMO Radio with your host, Eric Spencer, president of the Blackman's Option.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Appreciate y'all being here tonight for another edition of the Blackman's Option. Tonight, we're going to talk about an incident that just happened within the last 2 weeks. A young man lost his life in Brazil, and it's a tragedy in itself because the details of what happened to this young man are still coming out. And it's sad because you go to these countries and with the expectations of you being able to enjoy yourself. You're on vacation or you just want to get away. You're from getting out of the matrix and whatnot. But a lot of times, not all, but a lot of times nowadays, people just jump on these planes without any preparation, or they've been listening to the wrong people, telling them that they can just show up, get on a plane, and things are just going to be okay. And basically false advertising about what's really going on in these countries. Now, as we all know, the world is changing. It's not the same like it was 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And we've done a feature, numerous guests, talking about the conditions in Brazil. But you have a lot of naysayers that say that we don't know what we're talking about, that we're just hating or that we're just putting out misinformation when it comes to the real deal in Brazil. Even though we've brought an Afro-Brazilian man that is from Brazil, lives in Brazil, and tells you that Brazilians are watching your content as an American, and they have a different opinion about what's going on. They contradict a lot of the stuff that's being put out. And then we have my man Marcus from Black Brazil Today, somebody that has done extensive research pertaining to what's going on and explaining to you the shift that's going on in the country. So when we do these series, we're here to educate you. And stories like these educate men that are truly interested in traveling and exploring their options. because there's a way that you have to move. And if you go out there all willy-nilly, not understanding the environment that you're going to, then you can end up getting got. And even the people that have experience, myself included, you always can get got if you're not paying attention. So tonight we're going to talk about what happened to this young man. And like I said before, this was recent. This happened within the last 2 weeks. It hasn't made the news, not the U.S. news. It hasn't made headlines. Nobody on YouTube is talking about it. And this happened right in Copacabana 2 weeks ago. And the only people that are reporting it is a newspaper that we follow in Brazil. Now, I personally didn't want to put the man's name out, but the police in Brazil did. They put a picture of his passport out, and they started an investigation pertaining to what happened to this man. So the details are sketchy. And like I said, my condolences to his family. I don't want to put it on blast, but I do want brothers to learn from this situation and stop listening to some of these people that are putting out bad information, and for you to start critically thinking about the choices that you make when you travel to these countries, because it's not the same like it used to be. The world is changing. Economies in these countries are changing. And you, by advertising everything that you do, every move that you make, how you operate, you're making yourself a target. So tonight, we're going to dissect the information that we have pertaining to the young man that lost his life. And then we'll have some commentary talking about how you can protect yourself from this, because nobody's talking about that. Everybody's talking about women, 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 women. Nobody's talking about you losing your life chasing a woman. The only thing that's talked about is you're going overseas to get better women. But like we always stress here, you need to work on yourself first before you get a passport. And a lot of you dudes really don't need passports because you don't know how to act. And you think that going overseas is going to make it better, but you haven't worked on yourself. And you don't realize how dangerous it is when you move overseas like that, especially when you don't have the correct information and people that want to give you the right information and are about protecting you and your interests and not looking at you as a money consultation fee, something to line their pockets in. And like I say, wet dreams for clicks and views. And it's only going to get worse because the economies in these countries are deteriorating a lot faster than they are in the States. And as long as you continue to advertise yourself as a target and you think that nothing can happen to you, you will get got. We talk about this all the time, and guys, they seem to think that we're just running our mouths. Yes, we're not popular because we don't have a bunch of women on. We're not getting on a boat with a bunch of women of leisure and advertising the 90s rap fantasy. We're trying to give you game about if you really are serious about relocating and moving overseas. That's why we feature people that give you authentic information. Because you're not going to just get on the plane, grab your passport, pull up, go from the airport to the tourist destination, and think you're going to run some type of game on these foreign women, because they have the internet too. And if you continue to act like a simp in the States, best believe you're going to be simping overseas, and you will get got. So like I said, tonight we're going to discuss it. I got my man G Will. We're going to go through and we're going to analyze this situation, because it's really sad. And it probably could have been prevented had he had somebody to talk to him. But from what we've been able to gather, like I said, there's no real information about this. This is fresh. They're only talking about it in Brazil on this news site. Guys better wake up. I'm not saying don't travel, don't explore your options. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you're going to have to start critically thinking about the choices that you make when you travel. Because more and more, you're going to be a target. And more times, we're going to see incidents like this. We've already seen it in Colombia. It used to be an isolated incident in Brazil, but now this has brought that situation to light, because apparently they use the same drug that they've been using in Colombia. They call it scope. In Brazil, they call it Boy Noite Cinderella. So with that being said, let me first bring up my man G Will, and then we're going to bring up the article. I'll put the link in the description box. I think I already did, and if I'm not, I'll drop the link in. I'll drop the link in the chat as well, because this is something that needs to be talked about. And guys just don't want to talk about it. It's not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's not going to get you clicks and views. It's not going to fulfill any type of fantasies that you have about overseas. If anything, it scared the living daylights out of you about what's really going on here. So without further ado, let me bring my man G Will. G, what's going on, man?
What's up, brother? What's happening, man?
Man, look here. You know, when I found out about this incident earlier this week, well, last week anyway, I was kind of shocked because there weren't any details about it. Now, doing some research, trying to find out what actually happened to the young man, there still aren't any details about it. Nobody's talking about it on YouTube. I Googled the man's name and everything, and I could find nothing about the incident that happened in Copacabana about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at that, because, you know, as it's a moneymaker, and that's a really bad cloud on the tourism, especially from the passport sensations that's been going on. This can really look bad. So, and that's the reason why we need to be a little bit more knitted together to bring out these type of things, because you know, everybody want to live in a pretty house, but they don't want to dig that foundation and get their nails dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely know what you're saying. And, you know, the funny thing is, it was like, from the stuff that I've been able to gather, because there's going to be a breakdown in the description, because everything is in Portuguese. So I'm only relying on the translation, and I know some things are getting lost in translation, but at the same time, you still get the gist of it. You still can understand what happened. They actually started an investigation because they claim it was murder. This young man was murdered, and they found him in his hotel in Copacabana.
But the stuff leading up to him losing his life is crazy, and it's something that most people don't talk about. But they think that it's just like you going someplace in the United States. Oh, I'm going to Miami. Or I'm going to Atlanta. I'm going to LA. I'm going to Dallas. I'm going to go pull up at this spot and think it's the same. It's not the same. You have to have a different mindset when you travel to these countries. Enjoy yourself, but don't think that it's like the United States, because it just isn't. And dudes just don't really understand that.
Well, my thing is, you know when they say money changes you, or it brings out the person who you really are.
Yeah.
That's kind of related to when we go to these countries and we are in the upper, say, 5% of the population, where you have, and I felt it, I'm guilty of it, where you felt this invincibility, and these people are loving me because who I am. And you start to have this cavalier attitude about yourself, and you lose focus, and you can't do that. And I love the fact that we have somebody, for a military term, that's on my six. I always use it to you when we go out. I got your six, so we don't worry about it. And a lot of our fellow travelers, I don't think really put too much importance into that. But it has to be not only for us, but for the people that's trying to get us and take what they want from us. It's just a shield. And I wish they would appreciate that a whole lot better. I'm not saying that that's what happened to the brother. Like you said, there's a lot of shadowy things. I'm going off of the things that we experience, because the same places he was, we've been there many times.
Yeah, many times. And that's the crazy part, is like, yo, but I think that he was with a guy that just didn't know. I mean, because the events that they talk about was basically he got off the plane and that he hadn't even been there 24 hours. And he went from getting there, going out partying, and then the next day he was gone. So he had just got to Brazil.
And if he had somebody there, basically, and that's what I love. I love our group, where we take precautions like that. It may sound a little corny or whatever to whoever it is, but that's the reason why we have our welcome dinners, to inform you of these type of things. That's why we have a lot of veterans that attach ourselves to the rookies to show you how to move properly in these places.
Well, yeah, but you know, it's one thing for you to tell somebody. It's another thing for them to actually fully understand it, because you're gonna have people that are like, okay, yeah, you just saying that, but that's not gonna happen to me. I know what I'm doing. I can handle myself, but you can't handle yourself on an away game, because that's how I look at it. You don't speak the language fluently, and you're relying on the people that are around you to have your six. But if you don't have that, and you thinking, hey, I can still maneuver and whatnot, nothing's going to happen to me, and I still can act the way that I act in the States, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be safe.
Yeah, and we do have, and I think it's a subconscious thing. When we've traveled somewhere and we're in America, we always have this saying, well, it's not like that. Well, you're not in America. You have to leave that at home, because you have to adjust to where you're going, or don't go. If you want to compare everything to America, keep your ass in America. You're traveling to get a different perspective on things and humble yourself. You can't bring your way of life to somebody that's been living in their country for decades, and now you want to change it? That don't make sense. And you really have to check yourself on that, because we all do it. The only difference is some of us recognize it, put it away, and deal with it. Others, it gets amplified, because this whole, I'm an American, I got money, I'm better than you. We've all seen it. And they want to act as stupid as they want to act, as if they were in the States. You don't have those rights. Those type of inalienable rights you got in America,
man,
they're in America. They're not where you going.
Yeah, you definitely can't act the way that you think you're going to be able to act overseas. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, and I think for us, we do take it for granted but we move a lot differently. When you in a group of travelers, people that have been traveling for decades and understand the process of what it really is, then you feel protected. Now I know some dudes, they travel solo, and even solo travelers understand what it is to a certain extent because you're by yourself. So they know that they have to be able to rely on themselves.
I agree.
But if you green to the game and you just coming in here thinking, yo, I'm gonna show up, which a lot of times that's what happens. Guys show up, they think, oh, I saw somebody on YouTube, they told me I can come down here and it's just gonna be love. I'm gonna get off the plane, I'm gonna fly in the GIG, I'm gonna get in the Copacabana, I'm gonna go straight to the beach, and it's gonna be women everywhere, and they just gonna love me.
What they say in the game is different in the stands. Once you hit the green and put them helmets on, this is a totally different ball game.
Totally different ball game. Totally different ball game.
You can watch it, but you got to get into the traffic. If you can't adjust on your feet, you're done.
Yeah. You're right, man. Well, look here. Let's get into it. I'm gonna bring up. I'm gonna show the link to the article. And we're gonna go through and look at some of the comments because it's really interesting. And then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna talk about how this relates to what was and still may be going on in Colombia. So let me
Let's do it.
All right. So let me see here. So this is the article on the Alert Zona Azul site. You can follow it on Instagram. And as you can see, the comments, everybody that's making a comment about this incident is in Portuguese. So you're looking at it from their perspective.
And let's be honest, a lot of them is really not happy that we going down there turning into a Pookie and Ray Ray show.
And you know what? When I was going through this earlier today, some of the comments really took me back. Like this one right here. This is the one that really kind of made me look sideways. This was a young lady, and she gave a detailed account of when she saw him per se. She said, I saw him in the hotel on July 21st around 9 a.m. He was unconscious and sleeping, erased on the breakfast table while everyone looked ugly. So there was some lost translation here, but basically he fell asleep or he was asleep in the lobby someplace, and people were just kind of looking at him crazy. The hotel called the emergency crews to try to wake him up, but no one could communicate directly with him. To understand, they measured his blood pressure and asked questions like, are you diabetic? Have you used or injected any substance? And he wouldn't respond and was claiming he was just sleepy, but clearly he wasn't sober or in good shape. After that, I went upstairs to my hotel, and I don't know what happened to him or where they took him. I don't remember on the day that he died. This happened on July 21st.
So my question is, like, all the first responders did what they were supposed to do. My question is, if he did answer those questions, how did he get to, was he escorted or helped to his hotel room? Because you said they found him in his hotel room, correct?
Right. So
but this happened in the lobby.
Yeah. So this is the official report from Zona Azul. Said Jamaican was found dead. Now, what they did was they said he was Jamaican because they looked at his birthplace, which he was born in Jamaica, but he is a U.S. citizen. Mm-hmm. So there was some mix up in that. They were just going by the information that was on his passport because they didn't know that he was an American. But he was an American. He had a U.S. passport, and as you can see here in it, he has all the credentials that makes him a U.S. citizen. So you'll see some of the commentary, but basically this is what they're saying. A Jamaican was found dead in an apartment in Copacabana in the south zone of Rio on Thursday. I'm not going to say the man's name, but you can see it. 44, allegedly went with a friend to a nightclub in Lapa in the central state of the city, known the spot 3 Showgirls. So basically, he went there and he met some girls. The victim allegedly took women to the building on Bulios de Calaballo Street. The friend, according to the initial information, stayed on the street. So basically, I'm thinking that he took the women back to the hotel by himself, and the friend that was with him didn't go back with him. He stayed in Lapa.
Now, see, with us, that would be a red flag for us, that you got 1 on 3 and you can't see what the other 4 hands is doing, especially in your place of refuge in your hotel.
Of
that
course.
is a bad idea for the first night.
Automatically. No way. He would have been with us, but like, nah, bro. We would have stopped him in his cold on the track. Whether he was inebriated or sober, bro, that's not a good look.
Mm-hmm. And let's make something clear. We are not Monday quarterbacking what the brother did. We're just basically pointing out the potential, especially being a new guy, the potential of the danger that could have happened to when you do things like this on your. I'm assuming it's his first trip.
Right. I'm assuming it's his first trip too. I don't know, because like I said, there's so much that was said in the comments, but there's so little that's said outside of that.
Right.
I got my man.
And let me say one more thing, E.
Go
Let me
ahead.
say one more thing, E. I don't know, and being in the business that I was in, I have a real sticky intuition about why they said he was Jamaican instead of American. Because what would be more sensational and looking bad on them if you said an American was died or a Jamaican?
Well, you know what? That's something that we're going to talk about too, because it is in some of the responses to this article. Because that's what they were saying.
With that. I have issue with that.
Definitely. So before I go any further, let me go ahead and bring up Dennis Jean-Pierre. Dennis is definitely a friend to the show. What's going on, Dennis? Can you hear me? Hold on, let me see.
What's up, Dennis?
I'm hearing music. I don't know what's coming from.
You hearing music?
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't see any. There's no music playing. Let's see.
Shit.
Okay.
When I turn the sound off, the music stops.
Yeah, it's nothing on our end, Dennis.
Let me go on and come back in.
Okay, all right. But yeah, Gerald, yeah, you're right. I mean, we're not quarterbacking. We're trying to examine it. But the bottom line is the young man lost his life.
Exactly.
And as you can see in what they're reporting, the way that it happened, military police from the 19th BPM, COPA, went to the site and activated the expertise. So I'm assuming that they went in and started to conduct an investigation. And is that the way you read it, G?
Yeah, and another thing, it makes more sense now because they are really familiar with passports, because they probably look at 10 to 15 passports a day on a slow day. Mm-hmm. So what would be more available or more advantageous to bury this thing if I said it was, and I love Jamaican, but I'm just saying, if it was a Jamaican compared to an American, what would be the most sensational one? It would be if they said he was American, which he was.
Yeah, he was an American. He just happened to be born in Jamaica, but he was a U.S. citizen. So he's afforded all the rights that a U.S. citizen is afforded when you're in another country. He had an American passport.
That's right.
Dennis, can you hear us?
Music. I don't know where it's coming from.
I don't. Let's see. Music. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on for 1 second. Let me see what I can do. I don't. Let's see here. Let me see here. Okay, I hear some music too, but it seems like it's coming out of your end. Let's see. Hold on, let me see. Let me see, Dennis. Okay, try it now. Yeah. Yeah, Dennis. Check your browser. Unmute yourself. Check your browser. Yeah, let's see. We'll get that together. But anyway, come on. Let's continue. Let's continue. So, as you can see, some of these people are saying some stuff that he didn't deserve it. Some of these comments are so uncalled for. Really, somebody lost their life. People, he shouldn't have messed with hookers. But does it mean that he deserved to die? No, it doesn't. It's like saying women who wear skimpy clothes deserve to get sexually assaulted. Let's see. Lap of the Jungle. It's a spring and coffin. For those who are not from here, I recommend you leave before 2 a.m. because of that, it's narrow. DMs for those who are not connected to how the logistics work here. What goes back and proves our point.
Yes.
You can't just show up to these places and don't have any intel. And you got to make sure the intel that you get are from people that are reliable sources. Somebody that's been in the country for 6 months, you're not a reliable source.
No.
Somebody that's been in the country for 6 years and plus that actually lives in Copacabana, that speaks the language fluently, that's more of a source that I would use.
Because you're at a disadvantage with the language barrier anyway.
True.
And that just adds on to the confidence of the people that's trying to take something from you that live there. It's just the way it is. And the way this, like, if we having a hard time in America, what do you think is amplified in other parts of the country? Because we can still travel and the economy isn't good for most of us, but we travel. So what do you think them people there is going to figure out? Oh, you got money. We about to take it.
Yeah. Now, here's another comment. Like I said, there were so many comments, and I was just reading it. It was so much to take in because there was a lot of contradictory comments, But this one kind of stood out, that you can't keep thinking that this is a wonderful city with mockery or the gringo entering the business they don't want to come to anymore. How we have a schedule to leave home. And like I said, some of this stuff is lost in translation. Lapa and Land Without Law. Tourists foster too much. It's a mafia, and a woman sticks to tourists, and everyone already knows the rest.
And these are Brazilians making these comments, correct?
These are all Brazilians making these comments. Dennis, can you hear us?
But I still have music now. I'm using a whole different browser. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know, but you kind of sounded a little muffled. But anyway, I'm glad we got you. So look here. What do you think about this situation? Because like I said, this has just happened within the last 2 weeks.
Well, I said this on another podcast, another video. Whenever there's an issue with brothers getting in trouble down there, it's always revolving around when they invite girls back to their spot. Women, they don't go back to their spot. You know what I'm saying? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I don't know the whole story regarding this situation, but it just happens like whenever brothers get in trouble down there, it always involves inviting working girls back to their spot. Whether they call the police or they get drugged or robbed or whatever, have a fight or whatever.
Yeah, it seems like that's the case. And, it wasn't a big uptick. Like you saw more of it in Colombia. But it seems like now in Brazil, that's starting to be a thing. So you definitely got to be on your P's and Q's when it comes to that. You can't be down there willy-nilly. And, we've talked about this numerous times. Guys, you need to understand it's a wonderful place to go visit, and we're not knocking it, but we want you to stop listening to people that tell you it's a wonderful place. You can just show up. You don't need anybody to have your back. You don't need to do any research. I'm a solo traveler. Okay, that's great. But understand there's a risk now. Things aren't like they used to be. We talked about it extensively. Brazil has changed dramatically. So we want you to be prepared. And this is just another situation where, unfortunately, this young man lost his life. That's just the crazy part. And it just happened 2 weeks ago. And it's in Copa, where most people go when they go to Brazil. Most brothers, let me just say that. They go to Brazil, and they're in the Triangle area. You in Copa. And he met these young ladies in Lapa. But that's not to say that they don't move around. They're going to target you. They hear your accent. They know that you're an American. They're going to try to jump on you.
They know the way you dress. How many people have told us that we didn't even need to hear you talk? It's what you have on. We know you're not from here.
Right.
The way you dress, the way your posture, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, correct me, guys, if I'm wrong, but it seems like all the unfortunate events from us brothers that travel, you either had one, they were either solo, or they may have friends that they really wasn't together, and these things type of happen to them if you wasn't an experienced traveler who know how to travel by themselves. You know what I mean? Because I stayed in Brazil for a whole month by myself, but that was after I had the group trips and did recon on my own. And I didn't do any of the risque type of things that I would do if I was in a group.
Right. Yeah, you learn how to move.
Right. But it took a group of guys who had experience that I had to humble myself to listen to and then apply the things that was suggested to me or I learned.
Got you. And like I said, this one right here, this comment right here, it kind of took me back, but it goes back into what we talk about as far as your image. And when they say gringos, that don't necessarily mean that it's just Black Americans. Gringos are foreigners, but the sentiment is still the same. Always gringo looking for fun around here. Brazil isn't a circus. It's the river, not for amateurs. So, of course, like I said, things get lost in translation, but you get the gist of what he's saying.
Yeah. Well, basically said the river, he means Rio. Rio ain't,
Yeah, for Rio, yeah. But, that's the only problem when you do these online translations.
Right.
They don't necessarily get the direct translation, and sometimes some of that stuff is lost. So, but yeah, man, it's sad. And if anybody wants to go and look at it and authenticate it, this is the site here. I will drop the link in the description box. And I also put the link in the chat so that you can go and peruse the comments yourself. But this is something that brothers need to be aware of. You definitely definitely need to be aware of what's going on here, because if you continue to think that you're going to be able to just move and not have any consequences and not have any type of preparation, then you could get got too.
Mm-hmm.
Understand it.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Again, I don't know the whole story, but as I understand it, he was messing around with freelance working girls in Lapa.
Yep.
Yeah.
He met these young ladies in Lapa, and apparently the person that he was with, that he went to Lapa, he told them that he was going back with them to Copacabana. Now,
with all three of them, right?
Right. Now, you and I both know, all of us here know that if we would have been with him, that would have been a no-no.
Mm-mm.
We would have told him that's not a good look, dude. And one of us would have played wingman or something to make sure that he got back to the hotel and everything was kosher. That's just how we move.
especially as what we call guys that travel with us the first time, especially rookies. If you're a rookie and you haven't been here, look, man, keep your eyes open, your ears open, and your mouth closed in a respectful way. But you have to look and listen a whole lot more.
Yeah, he was found dead in his apartment.
I just want to know, how did he get from the lobby to his apartment? That's what stifles me right now.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The women that he was with probably helped him. Where you staying, honey? So he might not have gotten drugged until they got him in the room. He ordered an Uber from Copa. I mean, from Lapa to Copa, and they dropped him off there. So it wouldn't have been hard for them to get him to the room. Like Dennis said, we don't really know, but the bottom line is we have enough to know that he lost his life, and we all have enough experience to know that how things probably played out. But there's no information.
If he was sleepy, based on being a first responder, if he was sleepy. Now we know the background of this drug that they're using. If you give them too much, you're gonna die.
Right.
So there's no pharmacist. They just throwing it in there. What my idea was because basically he was incoherent in the hotel.
Yeah,
they called. What happens is, what I think is, he met these girls. They had to be doing some drinking at the club or wherever he was. They threw some in there already. It didn't take effect the way they want. Now, this is just speculation based on my 29 years of being in law enforcement. And sometimes you have to build some Legos to connect the bridge. If he was incoherent enough or not responding for the lobby to call first responders, they had to initially put something in his drink in the club or sometime doing transportation. He started getting more drowsy. They wanted to put more into where he was doing. They gave him a little bit too much on probably a second dose. And I think that's what got him. Because if you acting like that and you're not even in your hotel or your Airbnb, they're thinking we need to throw some more in there. And out of the stories of Medellin, they were saying it's a crapshoot on if the person that's drugging you know how much to give you.
Right.
And it can be just a squirt. It's not the powder. It may be in liquid form where he wouldn't even know that they put that in there on him.
Yeah, they call it scope. Scopamine, right? But they call it scope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I know that there was a video done and an interview about the guy that was in charge of one of the rings in Colombia that was targeting African Americans. I mean, the man literally said that. Now, I'm not going to say that's the case in Brazil, but once again, we want you guys to be aware of this stuff. It's definitely changing. We're not telling you not to travel. We're telling you to get the correct information and to get with people that want to see you live.
I'm starting to notice an uptick in these druggings.
Go ahead, Dennis.
I'm starting to notice an uptick in these druggings in Rio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's starting to happen with a little more frequency.
Yeah, a lot. You know what? And the funny thing was, like, we were there in February, and a lot of guys that live in Copa, that's what they were talking about. Like, yo, you got to be careful now. And I was like, well, what's changed? I know things have been changed. He said, yo, a lot of these women of leisure, these people running around here, they're drugging folks now. And I said, are they doing that similar to what they were doing in Brazil, in Colombia? And he was like, yeah. So
it's going to get to a point now where if you're going to go down there and make up with working girls, you'd be better off going to an establishment. Because getting streetwalkers now is becoming dangerous. You don't know this girl, and because you're on her home turf, she's got the upper hand. You know what I'm saying? She can get back to your apartment, break bad on you, call the police. Who they're gonna believe? They're gonna believe her.
Yeah, they're gonna believe her. And the whole narrative that you can just show up and everything's gonna be hunky dory.
It's over.
Excuse me. That day's out. It's over. It's over. It's over. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Uh-oh. 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 Man, we got Ghost on the thing. Woo! What's going on, Ghost?
Yeah. Oh, one of the major authorities. What's up? What's up, Ghost?
Hey man, just chiming in and listening, to unfortunately that brother lost his life, it's unfortunate. I was reading the article, and basically, of course you're gonna read some of the comments, and they were saying like he was actually found at least 5 blocks left from my apartment, dead in his apartment. Apparently they said that they took his belonging. That's how they figured that it was that he got drugged, because they stole his stuff, and he brought like 3 chicks back to his apartment, which can be a fatal mistake, and obviously, in Lapa is known for like when you see those pros in that area, avoid them because they're gonna drug you. It's known for like a major drugging hub. Like they drug a lot of tourists, and it's not safe, like to pull a girl that you don't know because 90% of the time you might get drugged, according to the articles, the reports that you read. Lapa is good if you're gonna go hang out, have a drink, get something to eat, listen to music, and that's it, man. But don't try to bring girls back that you don't even know, because that's a fatal mistake.
Right.
And most of the time, I call it a rookie mistake. Maybe he wasn't advised, he was excited. His people was telling him like, "Hey, man, people are nice here. You can't let your guards down, man, because that's when they get you." Long story short, about 15 years ago, there was a brother from New York City, and he was found dead in his apartment. We knew him, and he rest in peace. And he was drugged. And the case, nothing happened to the perpetrator. They never found the perpetrator. They saw the girl that went with him in his apartment, but they never found her. They never caught her. Um, for his family to bring the body back, it took about 2 months, just to tell you, So, yeah, he got drugged. He left his guard down, so you got to be very careful. It's a dangerous game out there, and I'll tell you from experience, like I known many guys that got drugged over the years. They want to bring 2 girls back to their room. Don't bring girls that you don't even know. Especially to your room, because you never know what can happen, and you can be an easy prey. So it happens a lot. It's just that it's not talked about a lot because it happens more to the local guys, right, than the actual foreigners. Because most guys go to Lapa to pull girls. And when I read the article, I said, man, that shit was fucking fatal, because who brings chicks from Lapa to their apartment? 3 girls too. That's wild, So I will say most of the time, a lot of guys are misinformed. People put out the wrong information. Go to Lapa, pull a girl. Go to the favela, pull a girl. Bro, don't do that shit. You don't even know her. You got to vet her first before you bring a girl to your apartment. Because it can be a fatal mistake. And I mean, it's unfortunate. But I was reading the comments and stuff like that, and most of the people was like, "You shouldn't mess with a pro. You shouldn't mess with that." And it's unfortunate. People are not gonna be too nice, especially when you're a gringo and you out there. You know what I'm saying? They're already jealous of you most of the time. Now imagine you out there banging pros and getting drugged. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good look.
No. And you know what? That's what we talk about. It's like, yo, these people are watching you. The guy last week that was on the show, he's like, yo, I'm Brazilian. I watch a lot of American content that you guys talk about our country. And some of the stuff I have to disagree with. He said, I live here and I know what's really going on. But he said, that's not what's being promoted by you guys. And I can't disagree with them because I don't live there. I'm not Brazilian. I'm American.
Right.
And like we always said, hey, you're going to have to start getting away from the big cities. Yeah, you can have fun in Rio, but if you're looking for someone to as far as wife material and stuff, you seriously gonna have to start going outside of the big municipalities, because things are changing. And
That's a
Rio is
fact.
definitely a transactional city. What do you say, Dennis? You think so?
It's not even the same from when I first started going to Brazil.
Yeah.
It seems like the women are a little more entitled when I first started going. It's a little more difficult to meet women on the street like it was before. Of course, it's better than the States, obviously, but
Yeah, of
it's not the
course.
same as it was. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was at Mavs, and I was talking to this American brother, and he said, "I'm not coming back here." And I said, "Why not?" He said, "It's not the same." He's like, "When I get girls' phone numbers down here, I just delete them when I leave." He said, "It's not the same."
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, the environment has changed, and like I said, this is something that needs to be made aware. Everybody wants to promote this. Oh, I'm a passport bro and stuff. I say, oh, passport bros are targets now.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, oh, you a passport bro? I can get you because you're thirsty and you're easily manipulated. All I got to show you is some of this brown round bunda, and I got you.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
know who the rookies are.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good case in point. In 2018, we were at the beach and we had one of our favorite rookies. That was his first time there. He met a girl and she suggests that he takes her friends up, 4 of them. One of them was a crack addict, but he didn't know at the time. And me and Eric told him,
no.
me and Eric told him, look, bro, no, you're not finna go there. Now, the sinister part of that was the one that was mainly talking and act like she didn't know English, knew English. Come to find out that she was deported from Denver, Colorado, back to Rio for some illegal activities that she was involved with. But they was trying to set our boy up, and that was the benefit of him having veterans around and telling him basically that you don't want to do that. You don't want to bring them up to your room. And let's all get together and have a party. No, we don't get down like that, sister. Not at all.
Yeah. So there's no difference whether you go into the room, you can get drugged on a boat. You can get drugged in the park. You have to be careful. Yeah. And I know a lot of guys like to solo travel, but if you don't really have the experience, you need to get with people that really truly understand it. Not salesmen that are just trying to say, hey man, give me a consultation. A consultation is not going to do anything. You got to have boots on the ground. They can say, hey, look, this is what's really going on here. You need to, if you're going to come here solo, learn a little bit of the language. These are the places that you go. These are tips that you can do, and make sure that somebody knows where you're at all the time, and watch your drink. Stuff like that. But if you like Go said, you go down to Lapa, okay, understand where you're going. It's not like in the States. It's not like you going to Miami and you're going to pull up on somebody, or it's not like you going to Atlanta someplace and you're going to pull up somebody. And even then they can get you. There's stories down here, people getting got in Atlanta and in Miami. Everybody getting set up now. So, being thirsty don't pay.
That's right.
The last time I was in Rio, me, my friend Dean, and my best friend Tito, we went up to Vidigal, the restaurant up there, Mirante.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, me, my girl, Dean, and Tito. And the owner, I think this guy was the owner, and he walked up to our table. And Tito looked at me and said, "You look like he had people killed." This guy looked like he asked me to kill. And I noticed the way he was talking with us, he was kind of fishing to see, what we were all about. And I noticed one of the workers in the restaurant was taking pictures of us with his phone. So he see, 3 muscular dudes walk in, military age. He thinking maybe we might have been up to something. That's what I was. That's what I was thinking. So the streets is always watching.
Yeah, definitely always watching. Yeah. Now, Ghost, you've been in Brazil what 8-9 years now. So what do you think as far as people, how they see you? Because they don't know that you American till you open your mouth, right?
Well, they don't know I'm American until I open my mouth. When I open my mouth, that's when they real. I mean, sometimes they can't realize it because my Portuguese is so fluent. And I don't have an accent anymore in Portuguese, in Brazilian version of Portuguese, so they don't really know. I mean, it's like I maintain a low profile. You have to maintain a low profile. You have to always be aware of your surrounding. Like I mean, like I said, a few years ago, what I'm saying? This is like about 3-4 years ago. I think you remember when I got comfortable and I almost got my phone stolen.
Yeah.
You can't get comfortable.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
it's a
Dude
cold
snatched
world.
your phone. You had to chase him down.
Listen, they'll snatch your phone. And I was stupid. That was like my dumb mistake because you never do that because your life is more important than the phone. But at the time, your adrenaline is so high. You're like, oh
Right.
shit. It like fast. I was just shocked. And then what that taught me is, don't get comfortable, man. You cannot get comfortable at all because when you get comfortable, that's when things happen. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be careful. Be aware of your surrounding. Don't be talking outside with your phone out, because then they're gonna know you're a foreigner. Locals do it and they get their phone snatched. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's sometimes they don't just snatch your phone. They put a gun on you. Give me your shit. There you go. So that's why you got to be aware of your surrounding. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a major city, and surrounded by by the slums. So you got to be careful. So it's the same thing all across the board. In certain cities now, outside of Rio, you don't get that kind of like, what I'm saying, that kind of tension of they gonna snatch your phone and shit like that, or robbery, or you getting drugged. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be very careful at all times. Like years ago, locals used to tell me, Rafi, man, you too laid back, man. You out there talking on the phone like it ain't nothing. You out there just like the it's not even gonna end because you get comfortable. Believe it or not, and then it's gonna actually relate to it. You get very comfortable. You let your
Yeah.
guard down, and next thing you know.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, it happened to me. I got my phone snatched and I ended up chasing the dude and I didn't get my phone back, but I learned a valuable lesson that night. How close you are to the heat in Copacabana. Cause I went up in the favela to get my phone, and that's when I saw the Master Blasters. That's when I realized I'm like, damn, I'm 2 streets over from Nossa Senora.
Yeah.
Them dudes got the AK 357, all this stuff, and they interrogating the dude that took my phone and whooped his ass right then and there in front of me, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm really in it, and I was like, okay, let me sober up real quick.
Eric, like, and just remember this. This is just an incident that we know of a brother getting drugged. Imagine how many incidents happen that guys don't talk about because most guys that get drugged, they don't talk about it because it's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
feel ashamed. Victims, I mean, I know guys who they got drugged. It's like, oh, I brought 2 girls to my room. I woke up, my whole stuff was gone. My wallet, my computer. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? At least you're lucky you woke up today. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't wake up, when they get drugged. And it happens a lot more than what is talked about.
So let me ask you a
this
question. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think this particular incident made the news?
Well, it made the news because every time they find a foreigner, the police have to report it to the media.
Okay.
Anytime there's a foreign death, so that's why it made the news, made the media, because they have to
Okay.
report it to the news. So that's why it made the headlines. So anytime a foreigner passes away, found dead, they have to report it to the media. It makes the media too. So yeah.
Yeah, because I was doing
like
research
I
on
said,
it, and I just couldn't find anything pertaining to him outside of this particular source. So it's like they promoted it to the news, but nobody in the States knows about it.
Yeah, it is. So remember this: they don't want people talking about it, and media outlet talking about it too much because it might scare Americans away. Remember, so they gotta put it under the hush. You understand what I'm saying? They reported to a news outlet. Look, man, we can't be pushing this stuff out because it's gonna scare tourists away. You know what I'm saying? We at a height where it's allowed to come. We breaking records right now, so we don't need any bad negative news.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
probably
that's why the
that's
motivation was to say he was a Jamaican instead of an American.
Yeah, because you can clearly see on his passport it says United States of America, and the first thing that the report said, was a Jamaican. I'm like, well, that's where he was born, but he had a U.S. passport, and you clearly put it in your news article with a picture. It says United States. So why would you try to downgrade it as far as him being a Jamaican instead of an American?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if you say, they don't pay attention to it, they're gonna say, oh, it was a Jamaican, not an American, but he's an American citizen.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I like I said, it's a shame that the young man lost his life, and we still don't know all the details about what happened. We just don't, and it seems like they're keeping a lid on it. I know there's an investigation. Oops, wait a minute. Got some feedback. Okay. We still don't know what happened, but I'm going to hit Marcus Rubano up, the attorney down there, tomorrow, and ask him if he can get any additional detailed information about it and what it is. If he does have something, we'll put it on the community tab so brothers can be made aware of it. But yeah,
that, and I'm sure his family would like to know too, or get a different view of things also, because I'm sure they're not being told everything. They got questions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm willing to guarantee, make a bet that stuff is gonna go under the rug. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I even doubt they're gonna put that much energy in finding those perpetrators that did it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they look at the camera very well, and if they do find them, nothing much happens because it's Brazil. That's why I always, when there's when we're a victim of a crime, most of the time it goes under the rug. The perpetrator gets away, they will lock her up, and a year later, less than a year, she's out. Because remember, we're foreigners at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Why it's even more important for you to be able to learn how to move. You can't be taking chances with your life. We definitely want to have a good time, and we want to have a better life, and that's the reason why we travel. But at the same time, you also have to remember that things are changing, and I just don't see a lot of that being said.
Exactly.
So if something like this swept under the radar, then guys are still going to be going down there, and the same mistakes are still going to be made. This is why we having a discussion tonight. Now, I hope other YouTubers can say, "Hey, look, man, this is what happened." Maybe we need to start looking at these traveling excursions that we take, and maybe we need to get a different game plan. Maybe we need to start linking up with like-minded brothers that understand what it truly is to be able to move in these different countries, because the environment is changing, and it's changing a lot faster than most.
And this is another thing that
I understand. Go ahead, Ralph.
This is another thing that a lot of guys don't understand either too when they travel to Brazil, especially Rio. I mean, Rio is just a tourist attraction, right? An attraction doesn't mean that it's actually a city that has an infrastructure for foreigners. They don't have an infrastructure for foreigners. So when you're actually in any area in Rio, whether it's in Copacabana, Ipanema, any building you stay in, 99% of the people that live with you are locals. You understand what I'm saying? So they don't have an infrastructure for foreigners. Like when you go to Thailand or you go to any resort in the Caribbeans, they have a designated area. They don't have a designated area for foreigners. So most of the time you can see yourself in the middle of nowhere, like, oh shit, man, I'm around a whole bunch of locals. And if you see foreigners here and there, it's cool. Well, that's the difference between an attraction and a designated area. Designated area, they have the setup, they have the infrastructure. So your chances of becoming a victim of drugging is very low. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you go to Phuket, you go to Pattaya, you go to Bali, those are designated areas for foreigners. They will never put you right next to the locals, because what can they create? Because they put you next to poverty level, around people that don't have it that much, you can be a potential victim. It's not a designated area for tourists. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Brazil is lacking. You know what I mean? Some might disagree, but that's just my observation. They don't have an infrastructure for foreigners. So guys are going to be. It's like in Colombia. You don't really have infrastructure for foreigners. So guess what? You're in a designated area as an attraction. But you got to remember, you're around locals. 99% of the people you're around are locals, and you can get got.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I said, it's unfortunate that this young man lost his life. But we want to take it as a learning experience, and hopefully that we can save another brother's life when they go down there, and maybe when they see this, they'll say, "Hey, man, let me look and see or think about something while I'm going there." Maybe I'm in a situation where I meet somebody and I think, okay, it's like I'm in the States. No, it's not. And maybe they'll come back and reference like, yo, maybe I just need to chill. But I think the big thing is you cannot go to these countries thinking that you're in the States. You can't have these rose colored glasses on thinking everything's going to be love. It just isn't. The game has changed, and they're watching you make these moves. They're watching you, how you move. They're watching you say, okay, we can target you. They know what you like because you tell everybody, and then you show everything. So now you a target.
And you telling them where you at. So you telling them everything that they need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I give you guys book your Airbnb, right? And you look at the rules. Have you noticed that the locals right now, like, nah, you can't bring any guests. You can't bring any guests. You can't bring any guests because in that building you're in, it's basically 100% locals that been living there all their life, and they don't want guys bringing in chicks in and out. You understand what I'm saying? So
right.
that's what happens when you don't have the area for foreigners, right? You understand what I'm saying? And I hate to compare destinations because every destination is different. But when you don't have an infrastructure for foreigner and you don't have a designated area, then it's a problem. I understand, like, yo, you're in a building, you're in a residential building. You're not in a hotel, where you
Right.
can just scream, yell, up, throw it up, do whatever the hell you want to do, right? So most guys think that they're going to, they're going to Cancun to a resort and they can make all the noise and wild out. Bro, you can't do that in a residential area because it's not designated for you. They just renting rooms. That's it. You understand what I'm saying? So most guys are not aware of that, and that's when the problem starts. So they basically like, hey, nah, we don't want you bringing guests. We don't want you bringing guests. Why do you think most hotels, if you don't register your guests, they will not allow any random guests because they're trying to protect you from danger, right? And that's what they do. So that's why I'm real, like, nah, if you register a guest, that has to be your guest for your whole stay. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep,
So
they do that for your
that's
protection.
one reason why they do it.
Yeah, they're doing that for your protection.
Exactly.
Dennis, you said you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment about you got some content creators. They go to different cities, particularly dating coaches, and they throw parties in these foreign cities, and these foreigners, the locals don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying?
No.
They're watching this stuff. They're watching this stuff. You throwing parties with all these different girls. The locals are watching it, and all of a sudden, all the girls in that area are on high alert. They're on high alert because look at these gringos coming out here throwing parties. You know what I'm saying? Engaging in debauchery right in front of us. Especially if you're in a poor country. I mean, the locals don't like that shit. You gotta keep that shit on the wraps.
Well, Dennis, like I said, I mean, all these guys want to get on the boat. I said, y'all never should have went to the Navy. That's just how I look at it. But if that's what you want to do, have at it. But I'm Air Force, so I got on the plane, so ain't nothing new to me. But but they're watching you. They really are watching you. They're watching you to see what you do, and the locals. If you're not developing a relationship with locals, then you're gonna get lumped in with everybody else. If you don't have any genuine relationship connection with the community that you're trying to go to, because they can appreciate that. Like the guy said before, even if your Portuguese is not that good, if you just know how to say boa noite, boa tarde, obrigado, That goes a long way. Guys don't even want to learn that.
Yeah, but they'll learn. They'll learn.
You got to remember.
They'll learn to say how much.
Well, yeah, 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 yeah.
And quote the price in U.S. dollars.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. So and even more so for brothers that want to look for a wife. Not saying you can't find it, but you're gonna have to make an investment. You're gonna have to start doing your research, and you're not gonna be able to listen to everybody that's out here promoting certain things. You're gonna have to. I'm laughing that somebody made the comment. You're gonna have to sit down and say, "Hey, look, I'm going into this environment. I need to make this investment because I don't want to be perceived like these guys that are down here putting out this content that are making it look bad for me. I'm genuine about my interests. I'm genuine about wanting to learn about the culture. And we do have brothers that are married, and they did go about it that way. That's why I say what I say. Brothers have gotten married and started families, but we're not going to promote them because that's their private life. I'm not doing that. BMO is not going to do that. Them brothers met somebody. They live happily. Matter of fact, another couple, they about to have another baby. Happy for them. But he made the choice that I'm looking for something serious. He learned the language. He got away and he found somebody that was really genuine. But if you down there thinking that I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna be on Tinder, I'm gonna be on Bumble, I'm gonna go down there and run this game, Playboy, you are putting yourself in a bad predicament. Because that game, they already know it. And
you're gonna get your heart broken.
Be broken. And the lackluster of you being an American or an American, man, that don't mean nothing. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because now they've met their heroes and they seen most of y'all Negroes ain't shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real deal that nobody wants to talk about. They're like, oh, you ain't shit.
Overexposure now. It's overexposure.
Yeah, exactly. So that boat has sailed.
Now, Eric,
go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, the game is so. Eric, the game is so rigged. It's like and Dennis can probably talk about it. Like, if you really want to find a girlfriend or a wife, you have to spend a lot of time on the ground. It's not just going there for 5 days and you think you're gonna get on Tinder and you're gonna meet 20, 30 chicks. It's not gonna happen because what those girls are gonna see is they're gonna read you from far away. Look, this guy's a gamer. He just want to get a piece of ass and he just wants to bounce. So you're gonna end up just with pros. That's about it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're looking for something serious, it takes time. You're not just gonna find a girl just right away. Boom, bingo. You're not gonna land. I'm an American. Oh yeah, she loves me because I'm an American. Them days are over. That American lust shit is done.
Well, why you think the first thing they ask you when you meet somebody is how long you gonna be here? Then they'll determine what type of situation. And you got to meet the family. You got to have time out there to meet the family. They got to approve of you. This is just not, hey, I'm at Mavs. Let's get some hot wings and go to the house. It ain't like that.
Any Brazilian woman worth her salt is not going to be caught messing with a fly-by-night gringo.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Especially if she comes from a family that got a little bit of paper. You got to speak Portuguese, man. There's no way around it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of elbow grease.
Yeah, you got to work. But on the flip side of that, you have to change your mindset as well. You can't be thirsty all the time. You're gonna have to say, okay, look, I'm going to a country where there are a lot more beauty is more abundant than where I'm coming from. So I don't want to get too comfortable and get overstimulated. Let me just say it like that, overstimulated. Because I've seen that happen. Dudes get off the plane and they're coming through GIG and
lose their mind.
And lose their mind. Like, bro, calm down. Oh my God, did you see that? I'm like, yeah, that's the immigration agent. Calm down.
Right.
You know this the Brazilian cats. They could be sweating the girls like that.
Dennis, I'm telling you, we had an event and we came in and it was we flew in from Miami and it was like 8 of us and we had two rookies with us. When the rookies came through immigration and they seen the women just walk around working there, bruh. We couldn't even get to the duty free section. They trying to holler like, bruh, calm down. You ain't made it into the country yet. Calm down.
That's true.
Calm down. They in the duty free. They trying on perfume and stuff. I'm like, bro, you just, man, calm down, bro. It's a process. You just got here. You just got here. And I've seen it happen numerous times.
Eric and Gerald.
Huh?
Let me ask you guys this question, Eric and Gerald. So when Gerald, when you went to South Africa the first time, and Eric too, right? South Africa is a place, if you don't have the personality, because they speak English, right? You're gonna lose heavily. Why? Because they're not falling for that bullshit where you're just gonna spit the game and run your American game. Because they already know the American game, right?
No, they got Nigerians.
A lot of guys, they're not gonna survive in places like South Africa because they would just say, "Man, this shit ain't for me. This ain't a layup destination." You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have a personality, charisma, girls gonna run away from you. You know what I'm saying? That's just a fact.
Well, you know what? I think the same thing applies anywhere now because the game has changed. See, guys used to advertise, oh man, you don't have to do any work. You can just show up in Brazil and women gonna love you. Nah, Playboy. Nope.
What's that saying that you say, E? Even the 304s want to choose. If they choose between somebody that got a little flavor and somebody that's just here to be here, they gonna pick the man with the flavor.
Nobody on YouTube gonna tell me otherwise. I've seen it. I've seen the room where you got some plain Jane dudes and you got some brothers that got their shit together. And I seen the room go from one side to the other.
That's right.
And the ones that got left out were pissed. Upset. So when we tell you, man, get your dress, cologne, be in a little bit of shape. You ain't got to be no muscle bound, but at least be the best version of yourself. Have a little bit of, don't be so uptight. Have some fun. That can go a long way because as we are exploring out, other women in other cultures are seeing that, hey, man, American dudes are kind of fun. But if you come up there with that elitist stuff, they get rid of your ass. And like Rafi was saying, dude, you got, and I'm gonna do that. I got you. I'm doing a show on that. You got a lot of these foreigners cosplaying as Americans. A lot of people from the continent are cosplaying as Americans. So not only are you getting,
and when they see the real Americans,
it's hate.
They get pissed.
It's hate
because you messing up their game. You messing up their swag.
Yeah. Look, Dennis, we were all in one time. And the woman said, we thought y'all were Africans. I said, why would you think that? She said, because you're a big group and we never see big group of African-American men move together. The only thing that we've seen are Africans and they try to pass themselves off as Americans. I was like, wow. And that was the first time that I've seen it. But even on the continent, you got people from other parts of the continent telling other people that I'm an American. Like you can ask Dennis, DJ, when he was in Africa. Yeah, the guys were telling people they from Brooklyn. They're like, what part of Brooklyn you from? Jamaica. That ain't in Brooklyn. That's in Queens. Oh, but you didn't know they were from New York. You got caught. So and like I said, the game has changed. You have to be your best version of yourself, whatever that is. But the three main things are personality, smell good, and look good. The best version of yourself. Not necessarily your looks, but how you present yourself to the people. Because they looking.
And be yourself. You don't have to be in competition with anybody in your group. Everybody got their own individual way of doing things, but they see, okay, this dude. We were next to a group of Nigerians in Cape Town. And when the DJ said we got some Americans, the girls were literally going to come over and talk to us. But the Nigerians told them, check this out. You better not go over there because we're going to be here longer than we're going to be here longer than them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So my point is, when you go to these countries, be the best version of yourself. And Brazil's no different. Trust me. Smell good game go a long way. You know, Dennis, that cologne game go a long way in Brazil.
Hey, Eric,
Yeah.
my man Tito, he told me one day, choosy moms choose Jif, but choosy hoes choose Pimp.
Man.
And look, even working girls gonna choose if you paying the same amount that she wants. I'm gonna go to the man that's gonna smell good and be good because I want to have a cool evening too. I'm not just gonna be with no funky ass dude that got some ripped up cargo shorts. 304s choose also.
Yeah,
and when you go to some of these establishments, they reserve the right to reject whoever they want. They ain't gotta accept any dude.
No, exactly. So if you think that they are going to choose you, no, they don't have to. So what's the mentality? What's the difference between a regular chick and a 304? Ain't much. So that means they got the same preference. That means cologne game, shape, presentation, personality. Hey, boa noite, bom dia. Learn. I mean, just simple stuff.
Obrigado.
Yeah, simple stuff. But that's not what's being advertised. Layups. And I can just show up and I'm an American and I'm gonna get all this status and what blah blah. You gonna be a crash test dummy with that passport. That's what you.
Especially not in South Africa. South Africa, like you say, look like Dallas.
Well,
and,
even when we went in Sao Paulo, I seen it. We went in Sao Paulo and we went to the black event. Dude, the one lady, she walked up to me. I had on that what did I have on? Pure Havane by Terry Mugler. Man, she walked up, she said, and then she got him. Got him.
Right.
So it goes along.
Don't no woman want to be laying up with no funky ass man.
No. But my point is that the young man lost his life, and we don't know what happened to him. We don't know what his mindset was. We don't know who was with him and whatnot and everything. But by us being veterans in this travel stuff and knowing how things are, you really have to be careful. I think that's why a lot of people don't really want to have that conversation because they think it's going to diminish their content. To me, I think it's going to be more uplifting. I say because you genuinely care about the people that you're trying to reach out to. You want them to be able to live and come back home or be able to live a happy life in another country. And
well, let's just say they want to come back and talk about it. They don't want to be the subject of you dying. They want to come back and say how their trip was. And you got to give them that information that makes them survive and get back on that airplane sitting down instead of laying down.
Well, like I say, man, I just don't know. But BMO, we're not going to do it. I refuse to do it. We're not. That's not what we're about. And that's definitely what Charles wasn't about. So we're just not going to do that. We've been on about an hour and a half. First off, man, get my likes up. What in the collard greens and cornbread is going on, man? Y'all should be liking this stuff.
Let's go, fellas. Likes it up. Let's go.
And this ain't no $1,000 consultation. This is free game. I mean, you got Dennis Jean-Pierre that should be at 100,000 subscribers. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. We should be over here about 5,000, but we'll take what we can get and keep moving on. But man, things are changing, and as the world changes, so does you in it. Mm-hmm. That's why you have to have a very holistic approach with this travel stuff. The content that we put out, we're putting it out because we want you to start thinking like we think. This is how we move. This is how when we go into places. How? Because we've learned, we've made the mistakes. So we want you to learn from our mistakes. Mm-hmm. And no place stays the same. every place is changing. You're playing an away game in different countries. Brazil is not like South Africa. South Africa is not like Thailand. Thailand is not like South Korea. South Korea is not like Tanzania and whatnot. They're all different. But one thing that can remain the same is you and your attitude and your approach to it, and understanding, being flexible in your approach so that you can be safe to live another day.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up because I gotta get me something to eat. I went to the gym today. I drank some milk, and I'm trying to get my sexy back. So hey, look,
that's
look,
right.
Yeah. Hey, look, I gotta get ready for my close-up in Brazil and definitely in South Africa.
That's right.
Dennis, when are you leaving to go to Brazil, if you don't mind me asking?
Tomorrow.
Damn, okay. All right, so how long are you going to be down there?
I'm gonna be in Rio for like a month, and then I'm gonna head to my house for like maybe 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because we're working on an event, and we were going to do it the week that you were going to be there, but Rock and Rio is going on, so we had to move it towards the end of September, maybe the 1st of October, for the event that we're going to do. But anyway, I'll reach out to you. We'll chop it up.
I need to holler at you after this live stream.
Okay, so I tell you what. We'll have the after party after the show is over. I'm gonna drop you down, and we'll stay back. But I'm gonna give everybody a chance to say a few words before we close out for the night, and then we're gonna have the BMO after party. All right. Hold on, let me drop you down there. Here we go. All right, G. Ghost was having some problems, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give you the final thoughts on the show tonight. What do you situation thing that happened with the young man, and
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but these things had to happen for us to learn. It's a shame that it had to happen to one of our brothers like that, man, especially someone who's new to it, which emphasizes the importance of doing your homework, doing your recon, and get a consultation with good-minded brothers that if you feel like you have to do solo, make sure you prepared. And I'm just really upset that this had to happen, but it was going to happen eventually with the recklessness that some of us do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in that. Nobody want anybody to lose their life, especially when you travel and stuff. But it's always a teachable moment, and we want to learn from it so that other brothers don't make the same mistake. It's like I said, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right, G man, stay on the line.
After party, man. That's when the real talk start.
Yeah. That should be a Patreon, but for real,
Exactly.
Yeah, for real,
because we got the receipts. We got the real receipts. Man, trust
me. Dude, our receipts go back so far. They don't want that smoke. But anyway,
no, they don't.
All right, brother. All right, I'm gonna drop you down. Get on this solo commentary. Hey, man, first and foremost, man, I appreciate y'all coming out tonight, tuning in. Like I said, man, get the likes up. Definitely want to thank Dennis Jean-Pierre for joining us on the chat, man. Always a pleasure. Good information. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Go over there and subscribe to his channel. Share his content. Get him up to 100,000. He'd be much appreciated. I want to thank my man G Money and Ghost for coming on, making an appearance tonight. And once again, our condolences to the young man's family. And like we've been saying the entire night, things are changing. Things aren't the same. If you think you're just going to jump on a plane and think everything's going to be hunky-dory without you doing the homework or without you actually taking the time to understand the environment that you're going in, doing some situational awareness, and doing some self-reflection, because You want to come back home. And if you're there to start a new life, then you want to make an assessment if that's an environment that you're going to be able to move in. Because moving overseas does require you to make some changes. So like I said, I appreciate everybody coming tonight. We got some stuff coming up. Got some announcements coming up hopefully in the next 2 weeks. We got our South Africa trip. We got a few slots left, November the 13th through the 24th. You can contact us at Blackman's Option on Instagram. We're on TikTok. You can contact us here on YouTube. And last but not least, join the Facebook group. If you want to be around like-minded individuals that are really, truly interested in exploring the options and living a better life, brother, they share some real good information. And our next show is definitely going to be talking about this cosplay stuff. Now, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but I never had a chance to really get into it because we've been working on some other stuff. But we definitely going to talk about that because you got a lot of people that are running around here acting like Americans, and they ain't Americans. Like Robin Harris used to say, everybody that you think is a Negro ain't a Negro. And that was a nice way to put it.
Gotta go.
Right. Gotta go. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to be on. And once again, my condolences to this man's family and whatnot. And please be careful who you get your information from. Be careful about what you do and how you move. And most importantly, be careful about what you're doing when you're in these countries. Because as we see, you can lose your life just like that. With that being said, y'all have a good night. And I'm about to go catch this flight. Jamel, take me up out of here.
Everybody in here was picked, selected, chosen. You are a difference maker. You are special. You are somebody. You're a conduit of change. And that's what we're going to do, change things. I don't know if y'all know it, but we're going to win. I don't know if you feel it, but we're going to win. I don't know if you can see it, but we're going to win. You got to understand we're going to win right now, not later, right now. Everybody in here is a change agent. We could go down the line and every last one of you have a story how you provoke change wherever you've been in some form or fashion. It ain't no normal guys in here. Everybody's been through something, they come out of it, but you changed the game wherever you've been. Am I right or wrong? You just got to believe. I believe it. You got to believe it.
This is Charles Tyler over at the Blackman's Option. Remember, I showed you the door. Only you can walk through it. Let's see what the world is all about. Charles Tyler, sign off for the Blackman's Option. Check y'all later.